Hi guys, this is part 2 of the jewelry product shooting, and I'm gonna go ahead and go through a few things as far as the way my thinking process was going and the setup. Now, if you remember from the last video, the problem with that jewelry piece, which is the center stone, that it has the sparkles showing only from the top. Okay, so basically you have to be looking that way from the top to the bottom, and your light has to be directed from the top to the bottom, just because of the nature of the crystals inside of the center stone, the way they are arranged, that they show the sparkles only from that angle. So if I'm laying my jewelry piece flat on a board and I'm trying to shoot it, as I mentioned in the previous video, from the top down and then flip the image, it's gonna look awkward. So there's no way this setting, laying it flat, was possible. So what I did is try to, let's say my camera is here, and I'm trying to actually my camera is gonna be looking that way. So this is the way I'm gonna be looking at the centerpiece, and this is the way the light is gonna be. So basically part of the light is gonna go that way. I'm not gonna use that one, and very small amount of that is gonna go to the lens where I'm gonna record those sparkles. So that's the setup, and I'm gonna show it to you. So this is one thing. Two, the problem with that center stone, that it has a core and it has what looks like a bubble of glass on the top of it. So the surface of it is very reflective, and that reflective surface is gonna require one thing, is to watch out for what kind of reflection that is gonna go on it. So essentially what we need to do here is not to hit it directly with the light, rather to have a bounced light off a card to the stone itself. So what I did is basically, if I'm looking from the top, so let's say this is my stone, so I'm using a card. I'm looking from the top down now, so I'm using a card here. Okay, let me just scoot it up a little bit so it will be visible. Okay, and I'm using a card here, and then I'm hiding a flashlight to hit the card and go to the rim, another flash to hit the card and go to the rim. So I'm lighting the rims first. Then if I'm looking at it from the front, I have another light down there to hit it from the bottom, and I have a light from the top to hit it over a diffuser. So essentially I have 4 lights set up, and I'm going to show you the setup right now. So the most important thing here is to try as much as we can with those cards to create a gradient. So let's say if I have, let me just go here and use this part here. Let me use this part here. So let's say if I'm going to look at a closer look to this one of those lights setup and the card. So the card is here, and the flashlight head is gonna be like this. So essentially this edge is touching this edge, where that light is gonna create a gradient, and same thing applies on the other side. So I'm trying, by keeping the edge of my card close to the edge of the flash, I'm trying to create a gradient. So the gradient on that glossy, kind of bubbly surface is gonna create a reasonable shadow instead of seeing like a card here. And I'm gonna show you those things. So let me go ahead and take you to the setting. And I'm gonna try to shoot tethered with my computer Mac using Lightroom. So let me take you to the settings quickly. And I'm sorry, it could be lengthy video, but nonetheless, I mean, I think it's important to see how the setting is. So from a perspective, let me go from the side first. Okay, so this is the side, all right? So instead of using it flat, laying it flat, so I put those sawhorses. I put this one next to this one because the board is gonna tip it over, and it did actually, so I'm kind of supporting it. All right, so essentially I'm using the card. Let me show you from here. The card, I'm sorry, okay, here we go. So this is the card. That will be camera right with a flashlight behind it. And this is the plexiglass. And there is a white cardboard on it, and it's attached to it with those clips. And the teeny clips are to attach the necklace to the plexiglass. So let me just, this is my way of setting it. So, and this is my camera, and the orientation of the lens is gonna be looking down at it. And this is the main light on the top, which is shooting through a diffuser. And that light is hitting the stone and looking down on it. And the lens is looking kind of, yeah, actually, if I'm putting it from this side, it's gonna be more obvious as far as the angle of the lens. So the lens is going down on it. And by doing this, I'm trying to mimic what I was seeing with the flashlight, by making both the light and the lens looking down at the stone, so I get as much as I can the reflections of those sparkly part of the crystals inside the stone itself. Okay, this is the second bouncing card, and this is the flash behind it, and this is the flash that is gonna give me gradient to light it from the bottom. Okay, so basically, if I'm gonna zoom out here, zoom in with my feet, but anyway, you get the idea. So I'm trying to show you the setup here. So basically, main light from the top, that's the one that's gonna do the job. This is policy buff. Flashlight, camera left, bouncing off a board, white board. Flashlight with a card, camera right, and flash from the bottom with a gobo that will prevent any kind of light hitting the lens, so I don't have flare. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Forgive me, please. My video skills are not that great. Okay, now let me make sure of a few things that are very essential too. So let me go from here, and let me show you how I'm trying to create a gradient by making the edge of the flash light touching the edge of the board. So when that light is gonna hit, it's gonna create a gradient. And I'm gonna make sure also that when I'm looking and setting them up, that none of that is gonna hit my lens so I don't end up with a flare. That's essential. None of that light should hit the lens. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with a flare and you will lose the contrast. Okay, let's go to the other side, which is gonna be exactly the same. So we're going from this side here. Let me zoom out. Let me get it from this angle, will be better. So essentially, same thing, same principle applies here. Having the edge of the flashlight touching the edge of the bounce guard. So I will create a gradient that is gonna be tight on that bubbly surface. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a wide gradient, or the gradient is gonna be way away from the edge of the stone. So that way we create a tight gradient that will give a little bit of a reflection that will be pleasing rather than matte reflection. So by creating the gradient, you get a reflection that is not matte. All right, and essentially the 2C stands here are just to support this diffuser, and the diffuser here is just like, let me show you this, guys. This is the one that goes into the, I think it's very reasonably priced, where you have a 3-in-1 diffuser, gold reflection, silver reflection, and white reflection cover. Okay? And same thing applies to the flash on the bottom here. So I'm gonna create a gradient also by allowing that light to hit the plexiglass and kind of graduate to the stone. You don't want to hit the stone directly with the light. There is no benefit of doing this, and you're gonna get an ugly reflection, or it's gonna make it look like milky. But you need to create some kind of a gradient. Okay, so if I want to do it sideways, just to show you the angle of it. All right, let me see if I can get that. So that's, I'm making it like as much as I can horizontal. So I would say the angle here, what I was making is about 15 degrees to 20 degrees. And the board's angle is about 30 degrees or 20 degrees or so. So they are about the same, slanted in a way that will create a nice gradient. Now, one final thing. This is just a cover of the red clip here that I'm supporting this board to the boom, because the red was casting red color. So you have to be careful about anything that has color in it, because it's gonna cast it on your final product image. Anything else? Okay, one more thing. I have seconometer, but I didn't measure anything. I didn't take any ratios, because here the problem is that with the ratios, you have metal reflective surface, you have kind of shiny, bubbly surface, and you have the core material of the pearl and everything. So they will behave, each one of them, in totally different way. So there's no way you can take, just pop a measure, dial it into your camera, and then you go. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of working one light at a time and try to get a pleasing effect, factoring in that you're gonna add those lights together. That is gonna increase a little bit your exposure, and then global adjustment of the final exposure. So that's how it works. One light at a time, and then a global adjustment. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start by turning first the camera light left. I'm sorry, am I dyslexic? The camera left light. All right, so that will be, I put it on a group B. Okay, B, mode. Here we go. All right, now I'm gonna try to get this to my Mac. Okay, let's do this and keep this one here and see what kind of images we're gonna get. Here we go. I'm shooting tethered to Lightroom. Okay. Now let's get for the I'm gonna only have. I turned off the top light. That's what I did, because I put the top light and camera light, camera right light on the same group. So I turned off the top and I'm using only my camera right light. Okay, let's shoot the first one. Let's see what we get. All right. So what we are getting here, let me see, let me shoot another one just to see which one was, let me see, yeah, I think so. No, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong group. Let me just make sure that the groups are, did I put B? Yes, I did. I'm sorry, I was working my camera left. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. So camera left. All right, B is camera left, A is camera right. B is left, A is right. So I'm right now on the camera left, all right? And as you can see here, excuse me, I'm getting a little bit of hot area here from the reflection, which is fine. I mean, if you're gonna go down on your exposure to the degree where you don't get that kind of burned area here on the metal, the other surfaces are going to look very, very dark. You have those shiny surfaces that you can touch with a brush and a little bit of down exposure, but this is a compromise that you're going to need to learn how to live with. It's not biggie. In all, I'm getting nice left rim. Okay, let me go ahead. Oh, okay, one more thing, please. I'm shooting at f11, ISO 200, and speed 200. And I'm not gonna go into focus stacking, depth of field. I'm not gonna go into that. The purpose is not this. What we can do later on, we can take kind of slices and focus stack them and then add them together. This is not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to try as much as we can to get the light right from the camera. All right, as much as we can to get that right from the camera. All right, so the light, this is the camera left, bounced off this card to the necklace, and this is the image that I got. All right, I'm gonna post at the end the images on Flickr and under the description of the YouTube video. All right, let me turn off my camera left light, and I'm gonna go now and turn on my camera right, which is a group A. So I'm gonna turn off group B. All right, and I'm gonna go to turn on group A. Now I put on group A the camera right flash and the top pulsy buff stroke. I'm turning off now the top pulsy buff stroke, and I'm turning only now the speed light on the right side of the camera. Let's take a shot. All right. Here we go. Again, nice rim. Okay. I'm gonna try on my phone to zoom on it a little bit. Okay, let me do that. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay, good. So essentially, I have a nice reflection here, and actually with that reflection you don't see that kind of board extending here, just simply because I made the edges tight as I explained early on, and by doing that I will make that reflection close to the metallic edge here, right? And it will graduate in a way that will be pleasing. Okay, so if I'm gonna zoom in here, you can see the reflection on that bubbly surface. It kind of has a little bit what appears to be like a split into the reflection, simply because the imperfection of the surface of the jewelry piece. This is not like an exotic jewelry piece. It was like $10, $15 jewelry piece that we got from a fair. So basically it's not that perfect, but it's still nonetheless nice way of trying to learn how to shoot and light it properly. Okay, so let me zoom out. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the speed light on the camera, right? And I'm gonna turn on the speed light from the bottom. Let me do that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and turn off the camera right, and I'm gonna go ahead to C, which is the bottom light, and turn it on. Okay, let's do that. And let's take a picture. That's how you need to do it. You work it one light at a time. And forgive the imperfection of the plexiglass, the scratches, the dust. This is not the purpose of this video. Okay, so basically, I'm getting nice rim underneath. Definitely, as I should expect, I'm gonna get the harsh shadows here, but those shadows are gonna be worked out. It's not gonna be a problem. We're zooming down. Again, you can see that this light is creating a nice tight reflection here, instead of seeing like probably a board here or reflection of a board here. So by graduating that light and creating that gradient, you tighten the reflection and make it closer to the metallic edge. Okay, all right, so essentially this is the third light, and now I'm gonna show you the light from the top only, and then I'm gonna turn all of them and take a shot. So now it's gonna be turning off the bottom light, and I'm gonna go for the top, turn it on, and that will be the strobe. Okay, and I've been having a little bit of problem with the strobe. Sometimes it misfires for some reason. I think it could be that particular receiver of Photic Odin. I hope it's not going to give me a hard time now. Let's see if it, I hope it doesn't misfire. Okay, so we're going for the top now. Take a shot. Nope, it misfired, of course. Let's take another one. Well, that's a good chance to show you when there is no lights, you should be killing all the ambient light, okay? So this is the first probably shot you should do before firing any flash, is to make sure that you killed all the ambient light. Let's take another shot. It's not, let me turn it on and off, I'm sorry. Let me do this. Oh, it helps if I turn the strobe on, I'm sorry. I forgot I turned it off, so it was not misfiring. Actually, it was just I forgot to turn it on. Let's take a shot. Here we go. And this is coming only from the top. You can see the harsh shadows underneath. This direction is gonna cancel out the shadow from the bottom. They're gonna cancel themselves out, and they're gonna need a little bit of touching. But look at the sparkles. This is my interest here. I wouldn't get this if I wasn't shooting it the way I am shooting it, or lighten it the way I'm lighting. Let me just magnify this and look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I wouldn't get that. I tried to lay it flat on the table, shoot it from the bottom. I was getting a dead stone. Look how vital and vibrant those colors are. Look how beautiful that is. This is amazing. Just by playing with the flashlight at the beginning, going around the stone, looking at it like circling around the stone, and try to see what's the personality of it. Okay, let me just zoom out. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm getting a teeny hot spot here. That's fine, that's okay. It's something that we can touch later on. So I'm gonna turn everything on now, okay? All right, let me do that. And we'll take the final shot of the product. One is on. And then we do this. B is on. And group C is on. And let's take a shot and see what we have. I think it misfired. It misfired on the top. It didn't. Yep. The top did not fire. Let me try one more time. I'm sorry for that. Well, this is everything without the top strobe. Those scratches are going to be taken care of with the top strobe because that will light it. Plexiglass is very nasty as far as scratches go. You have to make sure that your product is clean, that you're wearing the gloves, that you don't have fingerprints, that you don't have any dust on it, clean it well, that type of thing. But nonetheless, this is not that high-end jewelry piece. Here we go. We got it now, I think. I'm sorry, still didn't fire. Let me use the optical slave. I think it will fire this time around with the optical slave. So let's take a shot. Here we go. We got it. What? Am I missing something? Where is that? Let me just put it back. I'm going to turn it off and turn it on to reset it. That's when you have hybrid stuff. Flashlights, strobes, Photex Odin. Here we go. We're good. All right, that's the final product, okay? So essentially, you can see that this, let me just zoom a little bit, that the shadow, the harsh shadow that was here is kind of canceled. Same applies to the harsh shadow that was here. And the harsh shadow that was casted from the top light still exists to a lesser degree, but it's kind of pretty much canceled. And just you still want to get a little bit of a shadow. You want to get 3-dimension. You don't want to get it flat as if it's hanging in the air into space. So I think I can say that this is a very good result using that kind of setup that I'm using. And this is out of focus because let me just try. I'm going to keep it here. Look at the reflection here. This is amazing. Look at that. Okay, just look how tight that gradient is. if you want to get this closer, even closer, is gonna be very difficult for me to do, because I need a different way of doing it, like using a diffuser, which is Savage translum, I think that's the name of it, translucent, and use a softbox, like strip softbox. But I'm dealing with less expensive stuff like cardboards. Okay, all right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to get this into focus. Let me zoom on it. Okay, and take a shot. Don't tell me it didn't fire, please. It did. Okay, here we go. Here we go. You see how nice that is? That's in focus. Okay, good. The scratches. It shows the scratches and shows the board. You need to be careful about those things. Okay, you see the scratch here. Yeah, you have to be careful about that. But look at this. This is beautiful. This is nice patina, and the edges are lit nicely. Now this is out of focus here, but that's not the purpose of the video, is to focus stack or something like that. But I think, let me turn off the warning signs of a clipping. This is the histogram. Let me show you that. Histogram is more to the right. Clipping in a couple of areas, just here and here at the pearl, that's it. But mainly all mine is shifted to the right, and you better be always shooting to the right, because you will maintain your shadows, and then you can touch them with exposure layer brush, and you can get it back to your liking. Well, this is the end of this video. Let me just show you. I'm gonna try to zoom it in. And I'm gonna post those on Flickr. Okay. I'm satisfied with that. All right, I'm out.